Hey, I'm playing A-mie by Pure Prairie League as a request for a friend of the Morristown Uke Jam in California. And I'm playing it straight from the charts of the Morristown Uke Jam. So take the first link in the video description and it'll take you to a ukulele song sheet for this song exactly as I'm playing it. So grab that and your ukulele and you can play along with me. The second link in this video description will take you to hundreds more Morristown Uke Jam song sheets, each one of which has a play along and tutorial kind of like this one. And then if you're ever going to be anywhere near Morristown, New Jersey, come out and play with us. After the song, I'll do a basic tutorial together with a slow motion play along you might find helpful. Here goes. I can see why you think you belong to me. I never tried to make you think I'll let you see one thing for yourself. But now you're off with someone else and I'm alone. See, I thought that I might keep you for my own. Amie, what you want to do? I think I could stay with you for a while, maybe longer if I do. Don't you think the time's right for us to find all the things we thought were proper could be right in time? And can't you see which way we should turn together or alone? I can never see what's right or what is wrong. Will it take too long? Amie, what you want to do? I think I could stay with you for a while, maybe longer if I do. Need a lead man here. Sorry about that. Well, Amie, what you want to do? I think I could stay with you for a while, maybe longer if I do. Now it's time for what you wanted, you had your way. And all the things you thought before just faded into gray. Can you see that I don't know if it's you or if it's me? If it's one of us, I'm sure we both will see. Won't you look at me and tell me, Amie, what you want to do? I think I could stay with you for a while, maybe longer if I do. Yeah, now, Amie, what you want to do? I think I could stay with you for a while, maybe longer if I do. I keep falling in and out of love with you, falling in and out of love with you. Don't know what I'm gonna do. I keep falling in and out of love with you. Sweet song, Amie, even though I keep spelling your name wrong. Okay, fun song. A few different pieces of it that give it a lot of style. Part of it's just a funky, fun song. But also, if you can do the extra style pieces, it'll give it some diversity and add a lot more panache. If you can't, if you're a stark raving beginner, I'll show you how to do it as a start graving beginner, and it'll just be an easy one. By the way, yes, you can play this. Tell you what, the first thing I'm going to do is the main strum. I called it a pluck strum. It's just this. From the verses, you know, and the verses and the chorus are just like this. Pluck with your thumb, down. Pluck the fourth string, fourth counting from the floor. That's it. By the way, when I do this, usually what I'm doing, without thinking about it really, I kind of want the chorus. Chorus is where a bunch of other singers join in, and I'm just doing this by myself. But the chorus sounds more robust. The way I try to make it sound more robust when I think about it is the verses I play more lightly, and the chorus I play more robustly with all 4 fingernails. So the verse I might just do with 1 finger, like this. Watch this. Pluck, strum, right? And then when I switch to the chorus, I got 4 strings, you know, 4 fingers going across them, and it gives a more robust sound. It's the same strum, really, but if you want to think about that as a difference, you can. Also, I'm playing with a low G because my requester was playing a low G, and it sounds really good that way. But you can do this too. I can see why you think you belong to me. Okay? It's a little bit less authentic to the original, but it still sounds good. It's still right. You know, it's not wrong that way with a high G. But yeah, I'm thinking it sounds better with a low G because it sounds more like the song, the original performance, you know, whatever. So the basic strum is that. Pluck with your thumb on the 4th string from the floor, the top string, and that's it. Through the verse, through the chorus, and through most of the intro, except for the riff. So the riff adds quite a bit of style, and it's just this. If you have trouble with the timing, I'll count with you. It's a pluck strum, pause, pause. So pluck, strum, pause, pause. Plug, strum, pause, pause. 1 up, down, up, down, down, up, down. 1, 2, down, up, down, down, up, down. 1, 2, down, up, down, down, up, down. 1, 2, down, up, down, down, up, down. That's it. And you can practice that 20 times in a row if you need to get it straight. You can practice that in slow motion. In fact, I'll be doing it in slow motion just a bit at the end. The instrumental verse obviously is much better if you have somebody playing a lead. Well, that's true of the intro too. But if you don't, I mean, it is in fact just exactly the same chords as a regular verse. No changes at all. So it's no different. And if you don't have somebody playing leads, you can just skip it. You can just skip that part if you think it's too boring. The only other thing I'm going to go over before I do a little bit with chord transition. You know what? I'm going to talk about the chord transitions first, and then the outro, because the outro has an arpeggio. You don't have to play the arpeggio if you don't want to. I'll show you how you can get away without it. But the chord transitions, I did them a couple different ways. I mean, most of it, it's the A, G, D, right? So you got A, here's your normal A, all right. From A to G, you can slide pretty easily. If you think of your index finger as your stability point, it slides up 1, right? It stays on the string, it stays stuck to the ukulele, but you slide it up 1. So, and then from G to D, you can think of your ring finger as the stability point. It slides down, right? And then you have to jump to the A. But the jump is just these 2 fingers switch places. It's a pretty easy jump. Well, they sort of switch places. I guess from a D, they're hopping around. Anyway, so A, here's how I do it. From A, index finger slides up, G, ring finger slides down, D, and then you have to hop to the A. From there to a C, and I use 2 different fingers. Sometimes I put my pinky down and the D. From there, from an A to a D, right, you have a choice. Like normally A to D, I would just drop these 2 fingers and I have my D. A to a D. If I was going back and forth, that's how I would do it. See how smooth that is? Because you've got a stability thing there. But if you do that, then your pinky has to roll to the C. And you're going to end up going from C back to D, like this. So if you'd prefer, you can do from A, hop to a D, and then you just put your pinky down. See how smoothly that goes. So your choice. You can play, you can drop a D that way, and then roll to a pinky at the C, or you can, from the A, switch to a D, and then drop a pinky. Either way it works. And then from a C, you have to go to an E, and that is the hardest chord and the hardest transition in the song. Sorry, but from a C there, you're jumping to an E. You could play an E7. It doesn't quite sound right. That's why I didn't write it in as an alternate. It doesn't quite sound right, but you can. If you just plain flat out can't do an E, then you could do that. You could do an E6 or a, that's a C sharp sixth, I guess. It's a, no, it's a C6, D6. It's an E6. It is. You could do an E6 if you want. Instead, that would be like this, straight across. That would be all right if you want. If you can't do an E. But try for the E, because it'll sound better. And in the last transition, again, in the chorus, you're going A, G, D, A, G, D. And then to a B minor. Now, to the B minor, some of you might consider this the hardest chord. Your index finger is already in the right place. It's just going to lie flat now. And you drop your pinky, or your ring finger. So, again, the index finger is the stability point, where you got your D, index finger stays there, drops flat, B minor, and again, you have to kind of jump to an E. Your toughest transition each time. All right, now the outro. Again, I'm going to do all of that in slow motion at the end, and you can play along with me, but the outro first. Here's what I did. Well, first I'll show you the easy way. The easy way to do the outro, if you're not up to an arpeggio or you don't want to work that hard, then you do the chords and you just do a slow down strum. So like this. I'm going to finish the last chorus. I think I could stay with you for a while, maybe longer if I do. I keep falling in and out of love with you. Right? Just a down strum. Falling in and out of love with you. You could do that. That sounds pretty, doesn't it? You can do that. If you want to do it closer to the song, I did an arpeggio. I did this. And I'll show you how to do that. But falling out of love with you. Falling in and out of love with you. Okay, here's how I do it. I write it out. Again, the strings are counted from the floor traditionally. I think they've been, it's been that way for hundreds of years with stringed instruments. Count it from the floor. So that means first, second, third, fourth. I would have counted them the opposite direction, but I didn't decide on that. So, saying that, this arpeggio pattern is 4-1-3-2. So 4, 1, meaning top, bottom, right? 4, 1, and then the middle 2, top and bottom. 3, 2. I'm going to put an A on there. That's it. Top, bottom, middle top, middle bottom. That's it. 4, 3, 2. 4, 1, 3, 2. 4, 1, 3, 2. And you can practice, if you really want to get this song and it's hard for you, you can just practice that slowly on an A. Right? Just practice it on it. By the way, almost always, not always, but almost always on arpeggios, since a ukulele only has 4 strings, I leave my weakest finger, my pinky, aside. I got 4 fingers on my 4 strings, and that's what they do. They stay right there. So my hand doesn't have to move, right? Just the fingers, if I do it right. That's how I do it. Okay, so again, you can practice that as slowly as you need, as many times as you need, and I'd suggest just stay on an A and practice it until you can do it at least fairly fluently. But then you can switch the chords, and your right hand does the same thing over and over again, and you're switching chords. I'm going to do slow motion. I keep falling in and out of love with you. I screwed it up now because I was doing it in slow motion, but yes, your right hand just continues to do the same thing. Very end of the outro, some weird chords that sound really cool. Only one of them is hard. Only one of them is hard. I tried to come up with a different alternate, and I couldn't really. I wonder if a B7. No, that wouldn't sound. Yeah, well, anyway, so here's the end of it. Falling in and out of love. F with you. And then one down strum on the last. Now that one you can do. A add 9 has a hard name, but if you're already on an A, you got a lot of time, and all you have to do is drop one more finger for last strum. It makes a sound a little artsy, you know. The B diminished seventh, yeah, that's a hard chord. But here's how it'll sound if you try to B7 instead. Falling in and out of love with you. It's not right. You could do a B minor. It won't be right either, but it won't sound really off. But B diminished seventh, here's how I do the B diminished seventh. I basically capo, I go straight across with my index finger, and then I drop 2 fingers down on the 2 strings that need it. And I said before the E was the hardest chord. I lied. This is the hardest chord. That's it. Okay, so now I'm going to go slow motion through the entire, not through the entire song. I'm going to go slow motion through parts of the song, playing every part. In other words, like intro, riff, verse 1, chorus, and I'll pretend that that chorus is the final chorus and go straight to the arpeggio. Okay, so it's going to be intro, riff, verse 1, chorus, outro. In slow motion, close up on my right hand so that you can see every transition. And here goes. 5, 6. Oh, this is the intro, so it's going to be slow. And again, I apologize for my verbal leads. Oh well, intro, slow motion. 5, 6, 7, and. I can see why you think you belong to me. I never tried to make you think or let you see one thing for yourself. But now you're off with someone else, and I'm alone. See, I thought that I might keep you for my own. Amie, what you wanna do? I think I could stay with you for a while, maybe longer if I do. I keep falling in and out of love with you. Falling in and out of love with you. Don't know what I'm gonna do. I keep falling in and out of love with you. That's it. See you Wednesday. Bye.